My name's Ethan Vance. I'm 28, and I'm a freelance illustrator. My routine was usually quiet, super focused, you know? Just me and my studio in Portland's Arts District, surrounded by sketches and paints. A pretty chill life, really, just dedicated to my art. But that peace didn't stick around. A recent loss left this weird emptiness, a cold feeling, different from the grief I expected. I went to the lawyer, Mr. Harrison, from Harrison and Associates, just doing my duty. That's where I found out about the inheritance. I had this weird knot in my stomach, a kind of curiosity pulling me in. I got this medallion. It wasn't just metal cold. It gave off this persistent chill that spread right through me. The icy feeling around my neck was really unsettling. I had no idea what was coming. Then, the night's quiet just shattered. A weird, distant dripping echoed, breaking the stillness and my certainty that everything was normal. A shiver jolted me out of bed. That strange dripping sound seemed to echo again. I looked out the window. The street was dry. No rain. There was no explanation. I felt this unsettling knot in my gut, this nagging uncertainty. The sound pulled me toward the bathroom. The faucet was dry, but a spot on the wall, near the tub, was damp, cold, and clammy. A faint, disturbing smell of mold rose up. No leak, no logic. My head spun, confusion settling in. I stumbled back to my room, still dazed. The medallion around my neck, already cold, got even colder, almost burning my skin. An uncontrollable shiver ran through me. The cold wasn't from the air. It came from deep inside, from my bones. I started trembling, not understanding this sudden terror. My heart pounded. I blinked. The doorway was empty. The cold air in the room felt heavy, dense, and suffocating. I was sure. A dark shape, almost too faint to see, had just moved through. My throat went dry, and the medallion squeezed my neck with an invisible, suffocating force. Suddenly, dark water swallowed me whole. My chest tightened. The air vanished. My mouth filled with salt. It was real. The medallion's cold spread, invading every bone, like the ocean itself was inside me. My hands shook, my whole body freezing. It was her death, happening in me. Gasping for air, I tried to rip the medallion from my neck. My fingers slipped on the icy metal. I pulled hard, but it felt glued to my skin, like it had fused. The chain wouldn't budge, and its cold intensified, telling me it wasn't letting go. The water wasn't just in my lungs. I felt the floor beneath my feet turn damp, icy. I looked down, but there was nothing there. Just the sensation of being immersed. The air felt heavy, smelling like sea air. And then on the opposite wall, the shadow. It wasn't mine. It was tall, distorted, like it was writhing, oozing upwards. My body locked up. It was her. Great Aunt Evelyn, or whatever was left of her. The air turned into an invisible wall. My hands flew to my throat, scratching at my skin, trying to pull out something that wasn't there. Each breath was a useless struggle, my chest burning, begging for oxygen. Great Aunt Evelyn's shadow stretched, as if embracing me, and the medallion's cold became an icy knot in my lung. I was drowning, right there, in the dry, feeling the water invade me, and she was watching, with a smile I couldn't see, but felt. My legs gave out. I fell to the icy floor, my hands still at my throat, trying to tear at my skin for air. The shadow bent over me, and the medallion's cold pulsed, a heart of ice in my chest. I couldn't scream. Only a rasp escaped as my vision darkened. It was a deadly embrace. I coughed, the air returning painfully. My body trembled. The medallion was still there, icy cold. On the cold floor, clammy sweat beaded on my forehead. My heart beat chaotically. My hand went to my neck. The medallion pulsed an unbearable cold. I tried to rip it off again, but it wouldn't yield. Liam's voice made me jump. I was on the floor, gasping. He was pounding on the door. "Ethan, are you okay?" My legs gave out. The floor seemed to shift. The wall was my only support. The medallion's cold consumed me. Liam saw me on the floor, pale and shaking. His eyes widened. "Ethan, you're freezing. What happened?" Liam held me, confusion clear in his eyes. I tried to speak, but only a rasp came out. Liam called for help. The tests at Maine Medical Center came back clean. The doctors just talked about stress, you know? I isolated myself. Solitude became my only company. Showers became torture. Rain made me tremble. Drinking water was agonizing. The fear of drowning dominated, constant. The medallion stayed glued to my neck, icy. Trying to remove it was impossible, an icy chain that wouldn't let go. Sounds of water, the smell of sea air, followed me. Quick glimpses of Great Aunt Evelyn's shadow, just at the corner of my eye. Her presence was constant. Drawing, my passion, turned into torment. My hands shook. My mind couldn't focus. My art, my identity, vanished. Each day was a countdown. I knew it was coming, but the when gnawed at me. Constant dread, a knot in my throat that never loosened. My name is Olivia Reed. My routine in Wicker Park was predictable and comfortable. Healthy breakfast. Getting to my marketing job downtown. Emails. Streaming shows at night. No surprises. Then came a dumb argument with Ethan about weekend plans. And my engagement ring, the whispering band, suddenly felt tight. I brushed it off, thought my finger was swollen. But the discomfort stuck around, this feeling that just wouldn't go away. Out of nowhere, this totally irrational jealousy for Ethan hit me. I felt weird, like it wasn't even me. I tried to push it down, figured it was just anxiety. I took the ring to the Gilded Loop in Lincoln Park. The jeweler checked it, said it was perfect. No explanation. Doubt started creeping in, a knot in my throat. At dinners with friends, I'd force smiles. This possessiveness was bubbling up inside. Strange thoughts. I pretended to be the happy fiancé. Alone, I just stared at the ring. Where was all this jealousy coming from? The uncertainty was eating away at me, chipping away at who I was. This growing dread in my gut. The ring felt icy as it seemed to climb my finger. A whisper, faint like a sad sigh, seemed to come from inside the stone, not my head. I tried to shake it off, but a shiver went right up my neck, making me totally alert. I tried to take a deep breath, but the sight just froze me. A shifting shadow, long and formless, danced on my wall, reflected by the ring. It felt alive. I whipped my head around, and it was gone. My heart was pounding, and I didn't even know why. The next day, a family photo on my dresser, standing up, was turned face down. It hit me hard in the chest. An icy chill went down my neck. Someone had been in my space. The certainty that I wasn't alone just froze me solid. Ethan looked at me. "Olivia, you're distant. Your eyes look heavy." The ring squeezed my finger, a sharp pain. An absurd rage choked me. I stared him down, and he went quiet, scared. That night, a vivid nightmare. A voice whispered my name, demanding loyalty. The ring was burning. I woke up in a cold sweat, the ring still hot on my finger. The shadow from the nightmare appeared in my room. I saw my necklace move by itself. A cold whisper ordered, "Obey." The ring pulsed with a faint, almost sickly light. I felt this constant watch, my skin crawling. I tried to rip the ring off, pulling with all my strength. It wouldn't budge. The pain was so bad my finger throbbed and my skin stretched. A cold laugh echoed in my mind, mocking how helpless I was. At dinner, Ethan brought up a work trip. My head swam. I felt this weird fury, and cruel, possessive words just spilled out. "You're not going anywhere without me." He recoiled, shocked, his face pale. The ring tightened on my finger, a sharp stab that made me flinch back. Desperate, I looked up Madame Vespera at Celestial Insights in Andersonville. She took my hand, her eyes wide. "A malignant energy, child. I can't take it. It will consume you, steal your essence." An icy shiver ran through me. The ring pulsed on my finger, confirming what I already felt, a chill down my spine. Alone in my apartment, I grabbed my phone. My hands were shaking, but it wasn't me typing. Cruel messages, full of jealousy and possessiveness, flowed out to Ethan. I watched every word, felt the terror, but couldn't stop it. I was a puppet, my identity fading. The ring burned, and I felt invaded, controlled. The shadow materialized, dense, hovering over me. A roar exploded in my mind, demanding total obedience. "Obey! You are mine!" I screamed, thrashed, trying to tear off the burning ring. My hands trembled, panic clutching my chest. I watched myself disappear, terror paralyzing me. This was a brutal invasion, pushing me into an abyss. The loneliness of that fight was crushing me. I screamed one last breath, but the ring glowed with a blinding, sickly light. I collapsed, my consciousness fading, defeat swallowing me whole. Ethan broke down the door, his heart racing. My screams echoed. He saw me collapsed on the floor, the apartment in chaos. The shadow was gone. Panicked, he ran to me. Ethan shook me. I opened my eyes, dizzy. He noticed my finger, red and marked. The ring was gone. A strange relief, but the dread lingered. Police and paramedics arrived. Ethan tried to explain, but I could only tremble. Nobody understood. The room, senseless chaos. Me, no visible injuries, in shock. At Northwestern Memorial Hospital, Olivia was physically there, but absent. Her eyes were empty, fixed on nothing. Part of her was trapped in the darkness. I came back, but the apartment wasn't mine anymore. Every corner and shadow reminded me of the invasion, a chill that wouldn't go away. Ethan saw me, but the old Olivia was gone. I pushed him away. Intimacy lost. My eyes empty, just trauma and loneliness. Any metallic glint, a ring on someone's finger, would freeze me. I'd break into a cold sweat at the touch. The feeling of being watched never left me. The scar on my ring finger throbbed constantly. I'd hide it, but the physical touch reminded me of the squeeze, the power that had taken over. Without the ring, my mind wouldn't stop. Whispers, sounding like my own thoughts, gnawed at my sanity. Loneliness echoed. Fear turned into a constant shadow. I lost myself. The wedding was a ghost. No future, just the weight of now. Ethan was a memory. Hope, a luxury. My only certainty, the trauma. My name is Clara Miller. I'm 28. I used to live a quiet, predictable life. Woke up with the sun, had my coffee, went to work. At night, after dinner, I'd read or tend to my plants. That calm, no surprises routine was my safe place. But that peace started to fall apart. At night, I began to avoid the windows, turned on the TV to drown out the quiet. A subtle melancholy, one that wasn't mine, started to settle in. The Vance family pearl earrings felt heavier, and a weird chill started creeping up my neck. That melancholy wasn't just a distant sound anymore. It was a real weight I felt, like something was latching onto me. My friends, Sarah Henderson and Michael Chen, noticed my quietness, my exhaustion. They'd ask if I was okay. I'd make up excuses about stress, but I felt this growing isolation, like an invisible wall was pushing everyone away from me. I started digging into my great-grandmother, Eleanor Vance's life. I desperately needed to understand where this oppression, which now seemed to be consuming me, was coming from. Rummaging through old boxes, I found an old photograph of Eleanor Vance, wearing the same Vance family pearl earrings. Her eyes in the picture were empty, lifeless, unsettling. A shiver ran up my neck. A feeling of desolation wrapped around me. While researching, I started hearing whispers. Not with my ears, but like they were coming from inside my head, from the Vance family pearl earrings. A cold shiver went down my spine. I heard my name, Clara, a subtle lament that seemed to call to me. The next day, Eleanor Vance's silver brooch, which I kept in a drawer, showed up on my nightstand, next to the Vance family pearl earrings. I got this sinking feeling in my stomach. I hadn't put it there. The feeling that my space was being invaded was undeniable. A dried tear stain appeared on Clara's bedroom window. It only showed up at night, when I was wearing the Vance family pearl earrings. No matter how much I tried, it wouldn't come off. It was like her melancholy had materialized there, soaking into my home. The tear stain on the window gave me chills. Suddenly, a smell of mold and dried flowers filled the room. Strong, old, and suffocating. It had no apparent source and disappeared as quickly as it came. After the smell, an old melancholic lullaby, almost inaudible, started to play. It was a lullaby, but it carried a loneliness and despair that seemed to seep into every corner of my mind. The old melancholic lullaby turned into a palpable lament, filling the room. A cutting cold hit me. It wasn't from the window, but from inside me, radiating from the Vance family pearl earrings that seemed to freeze my ears. I felt the back of my neck prickle. The feeling of being watched closely was overwhelming, a presence that paralyzed me in the chair, while her loneliness seemed to take root in me. In that desperation, I reached for the Vance family pearl earrings. I tried to pull, but the pearls agonizingly fused to my skin, resisted. An excruciating pain tore at my earlobe. Then a melancholic, distant voice, but clear in my mind, whispered, "Don't abandon me again." I recoiled, hands trembling. I couldn't get him off. I felt her melancholy trapping me, stronger than ever. Legs failing, I dragged myself to Clara's bedroom mirror, searching for a trace of myself. It wasn't me. My eyes, once mine, now reflected a deep emptiness. Great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's ancient pain. Dark tears, thick with sorrow, streamed from the Vance family pearl earrings, staining my face. The mirror, as if it couldn't bear the weight of that affliction, cracked from top to bottom, shattering my image and my sanity. The whispers turned into an avalanche of vivid memories. I felt her loneliness, the abandonment, a sorrow so deep it completely overwhelmed me. These weren't my pains, but I was reliving them, as if great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's mind was superimposing itself over mine, swallowing me whole. I tried to scream, but my throat seized up. No sound came out, just a desperate gasp. My body gave out, heavy, powerless. Her melancholy became a crushing weight on my chest, suffocating me. The air vanished. I felt the floor disappear, sinking into an abyss of despair. My consciousness faded. The last thing I felt was complete absorption by that alien pain. My body ached. The cracked Clara's bedroom mirror reflected a piece of me, almost unrecognizable. The silence was worse than crying, a coldness that seemed to seep into my bones. Then, a persistent knocking at the door jolted me out of my trance. It was Mrs. Albright, my neighbor, calling my name, worried about the silence and my lack of response. Mrs. Albright's voice, a real sound, pierced through the fog. I felt a cold, temporary relief as the oppression seemed to retreat, hiding in the shadows. But I knew it would come back. A momentary relief filled me, but the emptiness left by the Vance family pearl earrings was even worse. The melancholy no longer came from outside. Now, it sprouted from within me. The Vance family pearl earrings lay on the floor, inert, but my eyes couldn't stray from them, feeling a repulsion and fear that wouldn't let go of me. The silence was worse. Great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's melancholy had fixed itself in me. A glacial emptiness, a permanent burden. Now I avoid mirrors. Great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's melancholy possessed me. Her reflection in me paralyzes me. The silence suffocates. The whispers come back. I feel eyes watching me. Only the TV on protects me from that melancholy that insists on seeping in. The Vance family pearl earrings are locked away. To touch them or discard them? Impossible. It's a living, untouchable burden that haunts me. Why so much melancholy? Nobody knows. Great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's mystery haunts me. An unanswered question that consumes me. Great-grandmother Eleanor Vance's melancholy latched onto me. I can't connect with anyone anymore. Her loneliness became mine, completely isolating me. My essence changed. Her melancholy marked me deep down, a loneliness that is now an inseparable part of who I am. My name is Ethan Miller. My life is predictable, routine. Alarm blares at 6, strong coffee, checking trending news on my phone. The commute to my downtown Portland office job. Evenings spent binge-watching streaming shows. or meticulously tending to my indoor plants. No surprises, ever. From my grandpa Silas, I inherited a broken, tarnished silver pocket watch. I always kept it with me, like a piece of him, a silent, really valuable reminder. One day, my coffee mug slipped off the counter, crashing. I figured it was just me being clumsy or tired. Months later, one afternoon, I felt the watch vibrate in my pocket, a nearly inaudible tick-tock. It was weird, but I figured it was my imagination or an old defect. The watch vibrated almost every day. My car keys vanished. Breakfast burnt. I tried to find a logical reason, but the bad luck was just too much. I talked to Sam Rodriguez about the stress. Talking to Sam didn't help. The silence after the watch stopped was even worse. The tick-tock's echo haunted me, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. My whole life became this tense waiting game. In that tense wait, I started seeing things. A quick shadow in the corner of my eye, always gone when I tried to focus. The watch brought more than just little mishaps, a fleeting, shadowy figure that seemed to follow me. I noticed things moved. A cup on the sink, my grandpa's photo turned upside down. The shadow left its subtle mark, just flipping my world. Sam found me, my face tight with stress. "I warned you about that watch," he said. "Your grandpa had some weird stuff, and now it looks like it's got you." After we talked, I headed home to Maplewood Heights. The kitchen door, which I swore I'd closed, was slightly ajar. I got this icy chill. The shadow was waiting inside for me. An unsettling, ancient odor of damp earth and stale decay filled the air. Heavy, old, and thick, it was just suffocating me. My eyes burned. The kitchen darkness felt thicker. A biting cold crawled up my neck. My head spun. The floor felt tilted. The heavy air held me down. I could barely breathe. Even in all that confusion, I knew the shadow was there. I felt my balance just go, totally disoriented. The loud tick-tock came from my pocket, the watch, active. The cold I felt wasn't just the room. It was the proof of what it brought. The shadow stretched, taking on these weird, shapeless outlines, like thick, solid smoke. It wasn't just a shadow anymore. It was moving towards me. I felt a hard shove to my chest, throwing me against the wall. The air went right out of my lungs. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The watch's tick-tock just mocked my panic. Panic choked me. My hands were shaking, but anger and desperation gave me strength. I had to stop it. I ripped the watch from my pocket. That hellish tick-tock. I slammed it against the wall, over and over, trying to destroy that cursed inheritance. The shadow just seemed to laugh, twisting. Sam, my neighbor, broke down the door. He saw me, watch in hand, hitting the wall. He tried to grab me, but the invisible shadow pushed him back. Sam fell, dizzy, not getting what he was seeing. His confused look just squeezed my chest tighter. The watch was still fine. The tick-tock kept going, and the shadow seemed stronger. Suddenly, the tick-tock stopped. The shadow just came apart in the air, like dark smoke. I collapsed onto the floor, totally exhausted, body shaking and aching. Sam was staring at me, face pale, eyes wide. The silence was heavy, but the feeling that something inside me had changed was deeper. I knew I'd never be the same again. "Sam," still dizzy and confused, helped me up off the floor. His face pale with shock, eyes wide open. My hand went straight to my pocket, feeling the watch, cold and still. Stopped again. The damage was done. Sirens showed up. The police came in, eyes fixed on all the destruction. I just felt it. Couldn't say a word. The police searched everything, but found nothing. No clues, just the mess. Nobody believed me. At the hospital, my head throbbed non-stop. Doctors asked questions, but I just saw the broken watch and the shadow of what my grandpa must have dealt with. The house was thick with this heavy, oppressive silence. No peace at all. It felt like it was screaming what I'd seen and lost. Every shadow scared me. The stopwatch was still a cold reminder of what I'd felt. I came back home. The silence in the house was a weight now. Every shadow, every creak made my body jump. Peace was just gone. My grandpa's watch, cursed, was in my pocket. A cold presence I couldn't get rid of. Sam stopped answering my calls. Nobody listened anymore. They just thought I was crazy. Everyone's disbelief just isolated me completely. An incurable nightmare. My routine turned into obsessive checking. Doors, windows, everything. Sleep was light, broken by night terrors. What did I see? I don't know. The doubt just ate at me. The watch kept bumping in my pocket, a constant pulse of that night. The fear hasn't let go. I avoid mirrors. What I see isn't me. It's the shadow of that night, the mark of what the watch brought me. I feel like it's not just me, it's him. What hit me wasn't just my grandpa's bad luck, but something that got a hold of me. A sickness with no cure. I'm stuck. My name is Rowan Campbell. I'm 32, a freelance graphic designer. My routine was my sanctuary, a quiet refuge. Mornings were for coffee and projects, just me and the silence in my apartment in Alameda. Afternoons were for creating, evenings for reading or watching movies. I lived in peace. Great-grandmother Sarah's charm bracelet, always on my wrist, was a sentimental link, a piece of memory and comfort. Then I looked down at my wrist. The charms, usually still, were swaying gently, with no breeze around. A cold dread hit me in the gut. The charm shifted, spelling out, "Run." I froze. A wave of panic slammed into me, stealing the air from my lungs. Suddenly, my home wasn't mine anymore. The air felt heavy. I felt invisible eyes watching me, an inexplicable threat hollowing me out, eating away at the little piece I had left. I didn't sleep. Shadows danced. Creaks sounded like footsteps. Loneliness swallowed me whole, making me an easy target. I took the bracelet to the table. Under the lamplight, I searched for wires, springs, any mechanism. I even took apart the charms and links. Nothing. Just metal and a growing uncertainty. It wasn't a trick. It was real. A suffocating sense of dread started to creep over me. That dread got worse. On the shelf, my favorite book wasn't there. My throat tightened. It was open on the coffee table, a random page facing up. Nobody else lived with me. This was an invasion. A dragging sound made me hold my breath. My heart hammered hard in my throat. I went to the door, slowly. The hallway was dark, and the silence that followed felt heavy. I felt a shiver down my neck. Leaving my apartment became torture. At New Seasons, on the TriMet bus, eyes felt like they were on me. I'd turn, just normal people, no one. That shiver down my neck was constant. On the bus, staring out the window, I felt a tingling on my wrist. The charms were still, but the warning was clear. A silent, constant alert, eating away at me from the inside, always on guard. That night, the bracelet vibrated, a weird hum on my wrist. The charms shifted, forming "He is near." My body went cold. A shiver shot down my spine. "You are weak" hit me like a punch from an object of comfort. The bracelet had turned into a cruel torment, whispering fears, stealing my strength. The lights flickered, matching my racing heart. Doors slammed, walls shook. My coffee mug fell, shattering on the floor. The air was thick, cold, like rotten breath, all around me. My whole apartment seemed to turn against me. Their disbelief hit me like a punch. Nobody would believe me. I was alone. The apartment seemed to laugh at my desperation. My eyes welled up. The fear of going crazy, or of being right and having no help, choked me. The bracelet, colder now, a silent reminder of loneliness and danger. My hands trembled on the locked doorknob. Darkness swallowed me. A dragging sound in the living room, clear, heavy, like something large being pulled. My body went cold. Sweat trickled down my neck. Every creak of the floorboards was a step closer to me. I couldn't breathe right. My chest burned, my heart pounding hard, almost choking me. The sight of that shapeless shadow froze me. I couldn't tear my eyes from the crack, even though I wanted to scream and run. A terror held me, watching that thing move, every inch a blow to my chest. I ran out of air. My knees gave out, and I felt the floor disappear beneath me. The fall threw me onto the wet ground, cold dirt scratching me. I didn't feel the pain, just the urge to get up, to run, the icy bracelet on my wrist. I looked at the shattered window, the darkness inside, a hole calling to me. I ran across the lawn, stumbling, no direction, just my breathing and the panic pushing me. The cold wind on my face, my breath ragged. I just ran, away from that house that had become my nightmare. My legs gave out. I fell right into Mr. Henderson, my neighbor, who was out walking his dog. He caught me. "My house," I gasped, breathless. The police showed up. They looked through everything. Just the broken window. No proof of an intruder. Their stares made me feel crazy. At Providence St. Vincent Medical Center, the sedation dragged me down. I touched my wrist. The bracelet was cold, the charms still. The messenger of terror had gone silent. There, in the hospital bed, the danger felt far away. I was exhausted, but for the first time, I breathed a sigh of relief. The police at Precinct East closed the case as vandalism. For them, a break-in. For me, the wound was deeper, an invasion of the soul. Going back home was torment. Every shadow was a frightening shape. Every creak, an echo of the panic that still haunted me. My sanctuary had turned into a prison of fear. The bracelet lay inert, but its "run" echoed in my mind. Its silence was an icy reminder, the invasion that stole my peace. I told a few people. They laughed, said it was stress. I pulled away. The loneliness weighed heavy, feeding the fear and eating at my mind. No one would understand. The dark of night was my enemy. In the silence, my chest would race. I couldn't sleep. The fear kept me trapped, awake. Who? What? Why me? Those questions spun endlessly. No answers, just an emptiness that ate at me from the inside. A panic that wouldn't stop.